the exciting part about this episode is that we finally get to have someone who's at the forefront of research and pharmaceuticals, specifically peptides. Peptides are amazing. They're very sexy and popular right now, but there are a lot of warning signs and a lot of, dead ends that you can run into, specifically speaking. And one of the things that we're going to talk to Sam about today, which I think will finally put the nail in the coffin, is people who resort to online peptide websites.
You just don't know where they come from.
Right.
You can't go to China to see these facilities. Nobody can go and audit these places. Let's say you ask for a COA, certificate of analysis, from one of these websites. They'll send you one sheet.
Yeah,
one sheet of paper.
I've seen
the COA should contain.
Do you mind showing that on the camera for a second?
Should be a book.
I understand that if the purity is not, the quality and purity is not 99.9, I thought it was 99.6,
Yeah.
They can fragmentalize in your body and cause liver toxicity, DNA damage, and even cancer, guys. Well, let's transition to what's the difference between, because you guys are not a compounding pharmacy, you're an FDA lab, and you're producing FDA lab approved products like peptides, vitamins, and AD.
Can I just say one more thing? I'm so sorry to cut you both off, because I just want to finalize this, because again, I am the devil's advocate. The other argument is, well, dude, these peptides are so much cheaper. I mean, of course, they're junk, right?
Of course.
But is it true? And I just want to make sure that I understand this correctly, because, this is how I like to explain. I'm like, well, of course, first of all, you're getting cheap stuff, right? That doesn't work, and it's actually dangerous.
Exactly.
But here's what happens when you're a compounder, right? Because the other thing is, but hey, I have a certificate of analysis, which we've now discussed that it's BS, but it's also a certificate of analysis, a third-party inspector that was paid by me, who am the formulator, and I have a relationship with the third-party inspector. Whereas
it's a dirty business.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, there's a lot of room there for conflicts of interest, right?
Yeah.
But, without going deep into that rabbit hole, the way that it works when you get legitimate compounded peptides, if I'm a formulator, I'm a pharmacist, and I'm regulated by the FDA, which, it's a good thing that they're involved,
of course,
right? I, as a formulator, have to produce a specific amount of product. Call it whatever, 250 vials. Out of those 250 vials, which has a cost, and my cost is larger than the peptide website, because I'm buying better product.
Of course.
I'm getting more analysis.
More quality
I'm making
control.
sure that this is safe for human consumption.
10% of it has to be tested.
So I already have a cost based on the product. Then I have an additional cost because I have to take 10% of that yield of whatever I produce every time.
Destroy it and test it.
Well, yeah, basically destroy, because I have to
test
take
it and discard it.
No, I have to take it. I have to take it. I have to ship it to a third-party inspector that his or hers or their loyalty is to the FDA, not me.
Exactly.
They report to the FDA, not back to me. But I still have to pay them for their job.
Of course.
So that is a cost, guys. That is why compounding peptides will be more expensive than these unlegitimate sites. However, when we've done the math, based on what they give you, when you do the math, you're only saving yourself a couple $100, but you're injecting something that is not made for human beings.
Yes.
So that's the argument on the finances.
And to just nail in the coffin. I mean, we've seen videos. We can't name or say any of these websites,
facilities.
But it was a house, and their clean room was like my living room. And I've seen a clean room. Like you have to go through triple doors. You get sprayed. You're like with a gas. You look like an
mask.
astronaut.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this was far way from being.
They look like real estate offices.
Have I sent you pictures from our facility?
I've seen it. Again, it's
super legit.
Again, actually, we'll probably for YouTube put some pictures on the screen so you can actually see what this lab looks like. Yeah. But let's just move to the second step now, which is we already killed and debunked all the myths behind research-based peptides. Yes. What makes FDA-approved peptides and other products that you're making different than compounding pharmacies? Are you regulated slightly different? Although compounding pharmacies, we do work with compounding pharmacies, and they are good, but they're not making 99.9. They're making 99.6%.
Yep, exactly.
96.
Right? So is there any difference in regards to your reporting to the FDA, or you're approved by the FDA to make these quality control products versus compounded products, which are regulated by the Pharmacy Compounding Accreditation Board?
Board of Pharmacy.
Board of Pharmacies, we're FDA regulated, so our we're CGMP compliant. So all of the procedures and everything that is CGMP is held to the highest level by the FDA. So meaning that we get a certificate. You guys are GMP compliant. When FDA comes and inspects our facility,
How often?
It depends. It's actually random.
Which is
They
good.
just-
That's how it
Which,
should
as
be.
a consumer,
They
you
just-
want
yeah,
that.
Yeah, you want it to be random. Catch me with my
Exactly.
pants down.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I'm
Plus,
good.
Exactly.
plus we get. I mean, we are open for audit. If a client, if we work with somebody and they want to come and audit us, they can come in and audit us, open up the books and see, everything.
Yeah, you
Super
have to be an
transparent.
open
You have to be
book.
transparent.
There is no hiding here,
Exactly.
because I have learned from compounding pharmacies, it depends on the relationship with the inspector.
Exactly.
And it all depends on the relationships you have. So it's still a little dirty, but when you're working directly with FDA approved peptides,
Exactly.
there's no room for
wiggle
room for that.
With board of pharmacies, they know they get inspected, and they know they have a 2-year window that when they get inspected again. So they just
Yeah, they kind of know.
They
Not to
kinda know.
mention, and look, this is my assumption. It's not. I have no factual basis for this, but I want to ask you this because when Miguel just said about the relationship with the inspectors, and we worked for so many years with so many different compound pharmacists that we kind of know the stories. But is it safe to say that the FDA is not really excited about you guys? Like they're not like, oh, these guys are doing great work, right? Because they get pressure from the pharmaceutical companies.
Which that's going to end with Make America Healthy Again and Robert Kennedy.
amen to that.
So, yeah.
We're part of that movement, by the way.
So is it true that, I mean, because what I'm trying to get at is the inspection process, the regulation, you are an entity that the FDA is not necessarily like, oh, I want these guys to succeed. Yeah. It's like, I want to catch these guys to shut them down.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So the most important thing, as you guys know, is the IRBs.
Yes.
Right.
Okay,
So
yes.
we should definitely discuss about that because
go for it.
we work with only practitioners and doctors that perform these IRBs, meaning that you can do these clinical trials with your patients in a safe way.
Right.
With our product, and we collect all that data. So we collect all that data, meaning that everything that these doctors do clinical trials with their patients, they collect all the data, they pass it on to us, and we file all that data. So if FDA comes through the doors and says, like, you guys are doing this, you guys shouldn't be doing this, we say, well, we're doing these under IRBs, meaning that we collect all the safety data, showing the back trail of everything, all the products that have been used in these clinical trials,
Right.
and to show that they are safe.
So, guys, so you understand an IRB is, we just got an IRB, and it makes us now officially a research-based medical practice.
Exactly.
Where we're doing human clinical trials on these products. Now, we haven't rolled this out. It's about to roll out because we want to make sure that we have all the legal paperwork put in place and all the medical records to keep track of everything because it's research, right?
Yeah, and we're actually reporting safety back to the FDA through this IRB because the FDA recently took a bunch of peptides off the compounding list because they didn't have any safety data. Yeah. So we were, and we're one of the few, I think, in the country that are stepping forward, taking this liability on, because there are some liabilities to take on and responsibilities to make sure that this is done right, so that we can at least have some data to report back to the FDA to be like, hey, your concept of this being unsafe is unfounded, and this is why. But again, and I don't mean to belay the point, but have you ever wondered why back pain affects so many of us? It might just be in the way that we walk.
And we've seen firsthand the impact of footwear on posture, stability, and overall performance. And that's why we're excited to introduce you Peluva shoes.
Our ancestors walked barefooted, allowing their toes to spread naturally. Modern shoes, however, constrict your toes, forcing your body to compensate negatively, leading to poor posture and chronic issues like back pain. Peluva shoes are engineered for comfort and designed to enhance your balance and posture. Experience walking as nature intended.
Go to our website and visit MHI Recommends to get our discount code and learn more about Peluva's technology. For now, stay healthy
And God bless. You know, how is the relationship with you guys in the FDA? Is it contentious? Is it like something that they're happy that you're doing?
We haven't had any issues. So with our lawyer Jeff Cohen, we started this program with the IRBs, meaning that we want to create a movement.
Yes.
And we want to create a movement with peptides, with these specialty peptides.
Which have been life-changing for a lot of people.
Exactly.
Including yourself.
And to show that these peptides are safe and effective, right?
Correct.
Safe and effective.
And exactly, and that they work. We should never make any disclaimers that they treat or heal or do any of that
disease,
stuff, right?
Yeah.
Although we've seen some magical stuff happen.
No, of course, but they are therapies, right?
Yes,
They're
tools.
They're tools.
Yes.
Exactly.
They're tools.
So as we like to say, a peptide is a signaling agent that's telling the body and instructing it to perform a specific job.
Exactly.
Right? And by the way, we like to offer peptides once we have restored cellular function.
Exactly.
We have about, depending on what scientists or research you're speaking to, but we have 70 to 78 organs. Yet our cells have 13 organelles, which are 13 little organ systems, like the mitochondria, the lysosome, the reticulum, endoplasmic reticulum, etc. The point is, when you get all those components firing and working properly, then everything as a consequence works better, right? So the proper nitric oxide production, magnesium, essential amino acids, nicotinamide mononucleotide, the list goes on, right? Once we restore that, when you give them the signaling agent, they respond much better in our experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why it's important to work with the clinic that knows, right, and does the right protocols. It takes all the all the precautions and all the testing and prepares
And
for
not do it haphazardly. Like some of
Exactly.
these people, and I always say, man, look, if you think that you can do this without the guidance of a expert medical provider or a team that is a professional team that has a lot of experience and proven record using this, that's dangerous, man, because you're going to do it haphazardly and you're going to do it out of order. Like we have a rule in our practice where if you call us about peptides, we're not gonna be like, oh yeah, we could do peptides for you. It's like no. More than likely, 98% of the time, when I hear somebody say that to me, they're not ready for peptides because they don't have all of these components that Miguel just mentioned worked out and already optimized, so that the peptide can actually give you a return on investment.
Right, I like that.
Exactly, of course.
Yeah. I forgot my point that I was going to make on that, but we'll move on. There's too
So
many
if you
points.
think you could do this by yourself, God bless you.
Oh, yes. That a lot of people think more is better. And not with peptides, you'll just saturate the receptor and then you'll cancel out the effect and waste your money. And this is why you have to understand half-lives, how much dosing before you cause that cellular attenuation return, right?
Timing,
Right,
dosing.
exactly. There's so much to it.
Oh my gosh, there's
how
so
much
much
to
to
stay
it.
on, off, etc.
Not to mention that, and correct me if I'm wrong, Sam, I always say that peptides are a roll of the dice, meaning that even us as medical providers and medical practitioners, not medical practitioners, but medical providers and experts in the field, especially in coaching on how to do this in a lifestyle, right? Like, there's no way for me to know how anybody is going to react to any specific peptide. Are they going to be a sensitive responder? Are they going to be a hard responder where they need more dosing, more frequency? It's just like, hey, we have to go with the standardized protocol that we've seen play out in a general sense, and then we're going to be in communication with you so that we know how to pivot if we need to. But if you don't have a medical provider or you don't have an expert team that is coaching you on this, how would you know when to pivot?
And that's where pharmacogenomics medicine comes in, where it's how your genetic makeup reacts to certain medications. We have it mapped out for emergency medications, but it's never been done for anything that has to do with optimization. So hopefully in the future, we'll map out the genome, which we already have, but how are we responding to these peptides? Because it might be that my genes don't respond. It's like, he's taking, I believe, MK677 had no reaction, yet I had a phenomenal reaction, right? So everybody's different.
Or listen, here's the best example, and I'll mention this one specifically because it's so popular. So BPC 157.
It's phenomenal.
I mean, listen, our best story of BP, and we've had every iteration in between. We had a guy who came to us in a wheelchair who was told he would never walk again.
Yeah, that's
now we go heli skiing with him every year. And we become a friend because we transformed his life. BPC not only made him be able to ski with his kids, but it actually fixed his psoriasis for 30 years that he had to take medication for.
Awesome.
Now, this is an extreme example. I have other people who have arthritic conditions that when they run out of BPC, they call us freaking out because it's life-changing for them. Now, me and Miguel are competitive athlete level athletes, and we've had a lot of injuries. I've taken gallons of BPC. Has it fixed some of my pain? No, because my pain, I don't respond to certain things, and my injuries are far away from what BPC can do. But then Miguel will do BPC and have phenomenal results, right? Now, I still do BPC once or twice a year because of the healing effect and the gut, and it's an amazing peptide to take, even though it's not specifically treating my herniated discs, right? So that's something to really consider when you're taking a peptide. Hey, just because you don't feel it doesn't mean that it's necessarily working. But then it also tells you, hey, this is not a peptide that I should be doing on a consistent basis.
For some people, it just may take longer, right? So that's why, consistency and being persistent and just giving it more time to work. Same thing. I had a shoulder injury, and BPC and TB4, I took it, for a month. Man, I wasn't really feeling it. Nothing was happening. When I had a CAT scan done, and I had a cyst inside almost the joint, and took BPC and TB again, for another month. Barely by the third month, completely went away.
But this is where we segment to the next, and this is going to be probably my favorite question to ask, and what makes Genogenics totally different than your research-based peptide websites and compounding pharmacies included, which I've never seen, and I fell in love with this. Talk to me about mixing peptides with pegylated and exosome solutions versus bacteriostatic water and their effectiveness. Because you and me have had a geeky conversation about it, and it blew my mind when I started thinking of the transportation of how exosomes are the best delivery agent and can penetrate every layer of the cell and deliver the signal 10 times better than a bacteriostatic water-based solution.
Of course. I mean,
but explain for the listener because we have experienced and non-experienced peptide users.
So regular peptide, you inject it into your body, and the peptide just goes and attaches to receptors, right? Yeah. With our product, exosome delivery, the exosomes are vesicles. So the
vesicles meaning vehicles.
Right. Exactly. Right. So the exosome, the peptide gets absorbed into the exosomes, into the vehicle, and it goes directly to the cells. It goes all over your body.
Because it's accepted by your body, because an exosome is completely bioidentical and natural to what's already there.
And especially stem cells, exosomes, which go directly to inflammations and damaged area.
Right.
If you have damaged organ, if you have damaged joints, if you have damaged tissue, anywhere in the body, because they are stem cell based, that's where they go. They release these peptides, and they release the exosomes, which signal your cells to get to work and
So does that mean that so it's kind of like a heat-seeking missile where the peptide is better directed so it doesn't get distracted by other peripheral noise?
Inflammation is what distracts them.
Yeah.
But explain pegylated peptides, because at the exosomes, most people, exosomes becoming a hot topic, but now we know that the best delivery agent, vehicle to transport the peptide, which is the instruction inside that peptide into the cell, there is no better way than to use an exosome solution to deliver that safely, and which eventually I want you to talk about. Do you also get the additional benefits of the exosomes aside from whatever peptide you're doing?
100%. That's exactly one of the points I was making.
That you do actually gain the benefits of the exosomes as well, which is behaving, because guys, so you understand, the stem cell I like to describe is like the UPS truck, and the actual exosome is the package being delivered. That's where all the growth factors and all the medicinal benefits that stem cells offer sit and have the effect on the body, right?
Exactly. 100%.
Yes. But so pegylated, how do I'm still having a difficult time understanding pegylated peptides.
It's increasing the peptide stability, right?
So meaning it would last longer in the fridge.
Well, it means that it will last longer in your body.
In your body.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's almost like an extended release.
Extended release, exactly.
Yes. Okay.
So if the half-life of the medication is 30 minutes, let's just say 60 minutes, it would extend it. It has an extended release.
So is it similar to, because there's now medication, especially if you told me one of them yesterday, Miguel, that you like, so one of the capsules will prevent it from being diluted by your
coated capsules.
It prevent it to
break down in the stomach.
Break down in the stomach, and then it'll go exactly where it needs to go, and then open
in the
up.
Intestinal lining, in the small intestine, that's where you absorb.
So is that sort of how pegulated where pegylation works, where it just kind of protects it, goes to the delivery site, boom, acts, and lasts longer?
Not necessarily. So it just means that when it goes into your body, if it has a like Miguel said, like if it has a half-life of 30 minutes,
it's going to extend it.
Is it extended to 60 minutes, meaning that it's not going to break down as fast.
Okay. It's not going to degrade in the body, and it's going to continuously prepare. It's almost like an mRNA vaccine. It's going to continuously replicate its message.
Exactly, and keep searching for the receptors, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So
so it's like a marathon runner.
Well, because
it's like a peptide on steroids.
Yeah, because as soon as you put the peptides in your body, your immune system goes after it, trying to, because it doesn't really necessarily know what it is, right?
And by the way, for the exosomes, like I like to tell patients, because we interviewed again Christian Drapeau from Stem Regen, which has a product that helps you release stem cells out of the bone marrow. You also have to reduce the inflammatory signaling components like chemokines, growth factors, cytokines in the blood, because if not, the exosomes they get confused and they don't know where to go because they're attracted to inflammation. So one of the most important things is to reduce that inflammatory response. Hence why you got to eat a healthier diet, exercise, cold plunge, all these other factors.
And hence why a lot of stem cell clinics will not allow you to have stem cell procedure if your hemoglobin A1C is over 5.7.
Exactly, 100%.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Wow. So because there's a lot of inflammation.
If you're over the prediabetes threshold, legitimate stem cell clinics, which there's a lot to say there, will not let you get the procedure done, because again they'll get lost in the inflammation.
Right.
Yeah.